Hello and welcome to In Business Talks 2, a podcast about people who work together as a couple, learn the secrets of business partnerships, the benefits and pitfalls of working together. Be it husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, friends, relatives or any other combination of business partnerships. As well as speaking with our couples, we'll also let you know of any useful websites or apps that are out there that our members have come across and shared with us in our regular weekly online meetings.
We're your hosts Tracy and Ian Earle, founders of In Business, a networking and business support community. We host online and face-to-face events and we'd very much like to meet you, so why not come along? The link to book is in the show notes. Our guests this week are Gina and Craig Jackson, and their company is Right Here, Right Now, and it's affordable content writing to help time-stretched startups and small businesses to achieve growth. Without further ado, let's crack on with In Business Talks 2. So welcome to In Business Talks 2. Today we have with us Gina and Craig Jackson of Right Here, Right Now, a content and copywriting business in, would you say Manchester or Rochdale?
Well, Rochdale. Yeah.
Okay.
Differentiate ourselves from Manchester.
Yeah. Oh, so welcome to the podcast.
I'll have to edit that bit now, guys.
Well, yeah.
Oh, so okay.
You need to be a bit higher up, I think. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Good to have you on board. Thank you guys for coming along. Appreciate you spending the time with us today.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose we should start with our first question, which is, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So we are a content and copywriting business with proofreading and copy editing on the side. And it was just one of them things that, you think, you leave a job and you think, what can I do? Well, I can write, so let's do that for a change, shall we? So we help clients write their blogs and articles. We do web copy and case studies.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you started the business originally, didn't you, Gina? And
Yeah. So
how long ago was that?
February last year. So it's not been very long. But yeah, it was just a case of I wanted to get out of the corporate world for various different reasons, and I'd been writing as a side hustle for about 5 or 6 years already. So it was just a natural progression, should we say, that it was something that I knew I could do. And I wanted to be able to be at home for our son, who was just 4 at the time. And yeah, he was just about to start school. So it was kind of like, I want to be there for the pick up and the drop-offs and things. And it's easy to be. It's easy to be at home when you work for yourself, right? So it was just,
it is, isn't it? Yeah. Plus, you don't have to ask permission to have time off and things like that.
A
lot more flexible, isn't it?
I do have to ask my Google Calendar if I'm allowed time off.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And when did you come on board, Craig?
Officially, April of this year. So only been about 2.5 months in the business. But I think, it's fair to say, correct me if you think I'm wrong, Gina, but it was like right from the start, it was quite a collaboration, right? It was your business, but in terms of helping out on the website and whenever things got busy and working together, it's like, it's something that we sort of both worked on. Me on an evening, Gina during the day. For it's been about 15 months now, right?
Yeah. It became last summer. I was just building everything up. I'd just started networking and things, and it became obvious that I'd got a few agencies on board, and it was quite obvious that I was their holiday cover. So as the summer holidays progressed, I just got busier and busier, and I was working like probably more hours than I would have done if I worked for a business, because I was like, I just need to churn out all this content.
Yeah.
And it just got to the point where I was like, Craig, can you write? Go away and do it.
And you know what? I loved it.
Yeah, it worked. It really did work.
It's so at the time I was working in, I had a good job, very analytical role, spending all my day in sort of spreadsheets and sort of writing SQL queries, and good work, but very dry and quite analytical. And
Yeah.
I just loved writing on a night time. I mean, getting a topic for a blog post or, writing some website content to convert. So, yeah, helped out for a few months. And then in October, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to do this. I'm enjoying this more than I'm enjoying my day job. So I had a 6-month notice period. So handed my notice in October, and joined the business. 4th of April?
4th of April.
Yeah,
which was really nice because Craig, since we got together, we've been together for 9 years this year, and ever since we've been together, Craig has always said, I want to have my own business, or well, we have a business by the time I'm 40, and he joined 10 days before his 40th birthday. It's kind of like, okay, you're in now, that's it, you're fine, you've done.
Made it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, you don't look 40.
No, I'm surprised you don't know. So making the decision then, Craig, to sort of join Gina, was there any sort of like sleepless nights? I mean, if you leave a corporate job, you know you're going to get a regular, steady income and all that sort of stuff. Was there any? Oh, hang on, are we doing the right thing here? It's like all your eggs in one basket type thing.
Every night.
Still every night.
It's because I mean, what's the saying? I'm going to get it wrong, but it's like partners with stable jobs. Do you know what I mean? Are the power behind every entrepreneur, or what? And while Gina was setting up the business, that was absolutely the case. We had that sort of stable income sort of coming through. To have both of us in the business and not have that stable income for me. It is a little bit nerve-wracking, but we did it in a sensible way. It's so we've got a little pot of savings, off to one side, so that if no business at all came in for sort of 5 months, we'd be all right. But the way things have gone, that's not been the case, right?
No, since I think December, we've basically covered 1.5 of my old wages. So we've made sure that we've consistently, hitting our financial targets and trying to make sure that Craig doesn't have a heart attack every month when the bills come in.
If we don't spend the savings, we can go to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
Don't mean you have to eat into your own way.
Yeah, I'll eat into them to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
what's your goal for the business, guys? Then are you looking to become a multinational company, or is it going to be a lifestyle business? Is it just somewhere you can make some decent money, pay the mortgage, have a good lifestyle? What is it that you're hoping to get from working together, for being in business together?
It varies.
It does. It's pretty much on a monthly basis. Like, if we want a holiday, it's like, oh, you know what? We need it so people can, we've got a bank of other freelancers that we can work with. And I'm very lucky to have quite a few people that I know and I work with now, where we swap work between each other. And it's kind of like, oh, you're on holiday or you're dead busy, right? Can you have that? Like, I'll take that off you. And can you do that next week when I'm away? So that's quite nice. But then on the other hand, it's just kind of like, no, it's my baby. I don't want anybody else to do anything with it. So it does. I think for me personally, I think becoming a limited business and becoming a proper business rather than a freelancer business, where we can in a few years or 10, 15 years or whatever down the line, sell it and give it to somebody else and say, here you go, we've built this up, here's all our blah, 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 and we can have a nice life on the selling of it. Absolutely. But if a few people have said to me, well, if you stop, it stops. Like, what would you do then? Like, I don't want to go back to the corporate world. So I think for me personally, it is trying to build it up so we can make it a proper worthwhile business.
Yeah. And I think because at the minute, I would say we're probably at about 75%, 80% capacity, right? Which is a nice place to be.
Yeah.
But at some point, our growth is going to be throttled by our capacity to do work.
Yes.
Yeah. There's only two of you, basically. Yeah, of course.
There's a two of us, and I think at that point we've got a call to make. It's is this what we want to do? We've got a nice income that keeps us in a comfortable life, but we don't want to grow it any further. Or do we say, actually, no, we do want to sort of either employ someone or work with other freelancers, and I don't think that should be underestimated, because at the minute, us two working together, I can say, Gina, this piece is taking me a little bit longer than I thought. Do you know what I mean? Are you okay picking up the slack on this one? Or vice versa. The minute you're actually working with other people and you've got to coach and support and develop, you need to get a little bit more structured and a little bit more formal. It's not just between the two of you anymore. So I think, the decision, is it going to be us two? Are we going to expand to maybe an agency with 3, 4, 5 people? I don't think that's a decision to be taken lightly, and I think it's something we're going to keep debating over the next sort of 3 or 4 months. And we probably, the way things are going, again, without getting ahead of myself, the way things are going, we're probably going to need to make that decision by the end of this year. It's a good decision, a good problem to have.
It's a good issue.
It's a nice problem to have, isn't it? You're going in the right direction, aren't you? That's
It sounds like you're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So what are your individual roles within the business? Do you do quite separate things as well as the content? Is there one of you does the marketing, one of you does the accounts?
You are the marketer, aren't you? You do all our marketing. And it's funny because I had this conversation with somebody yesterday at a meeting, and they kind of were like, oh, I bet you're really good at doing all your own marketing because you're a copywriter, aren't you? I was like, I don't do marketing. Like, that's not my role at all. That's why I have Craig. He does all my marketing for me. But I think a lot of the time it is more that we kind of split the roles as persuasive and informative. So I'm not because I don't like doing it, and I've never liked selling, really, even in my corporate role. If my managers ask me to, on the phone, just say, oh, we offer this service, well, I'm like, absolutely not doing that. That's selling. I'm in documentation. I'm not doing that. Whereas you've worked in marketing for years, so you're quite used to being able to sell something and have that ability to make something sound really persuasive and great. So he does the majority of the web copy and the persuasive blog posts and case studies and things, whereas I like writing nice fluffy articles about whether tungsten or ceramic rings are better for you and whatever. I like doing those articles because it just means that I can be a bit more creative, and I'm not stuck in we've got to sell this and we've got to have this sort of thing, whereas you're quite good at that.
Yeah, I think part of that comes from working in client services. So it's very much about sort of having a process with a client about what is it that you want, and going through a briefing process. Who's your target audience? What do you want to achieve with this content? And like building a proposal off the back of that, but then working with them on their feedback to get things just the way they want it in the end. And I think with web content, there's definitely, I'd say probably more than that, than writing sort of weekly blog posts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he does do it, he does do it really well. Whereas I think sometimes the more creative pieces where it is more informative, Craig will not this one, but it will get bogged down in the nitty gritty. Whereas I'm just like, I'll just write it, it'll be fine, I'll check it later. But he'll be like, oh, I've done 4 hours of research. I'm like, why?
I'm a bit like that as well. I can't help myself. Yeah, I
am a research geek.
I like the research. Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah. If I need anything researched, I get Craig to do it.
But the problem with research, I find it takes me in different directions. So what I start researching, I end up going somewhere else. Then I'm thinking, what am I doing? Yeah. Much to your annoyance, isn't it, Mark?
It just bewilders me.
It's what I love, though. It's like for the blog post, I do enjoy it because it's like it's all pub quiz knowledge, isn't it? So I think some of the clients that we've worked with sort of some wine businesses, haven't we? Could tell you all about Australian wine.
What's that noise?
What is that noise?
Sorry, somebody's just started drilling out right outside our house.
We can't hear it.
That's okay. That's okay.
Can you still hear us?
Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Well, I said earlier on, we've got all the windows open, and a plane flew over, and it was like really noisy. Yeah. So whether that'll pick up on.
Or we'll get somebody deciding to cut the lawn. Usually, don't we?
Our estate, all the gardens back up onto each other. So if you can, so it's like a little horseshoe, so you can just hear everything.
So like the whispering gallery.
Oh yeah. Where if you stand at one end, you can hear it.
Yeah.
The other,
Yeah. So, who holds you accountable then? Do you hold each other accountable, or do you just sort of do your own thing within the company?
We do hold each other accountable, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the great thing is we use a lot of tools like Asana to keep us on track. We update that every day. And we also have like little planning meetings on a Monday and a Friday to kind of say, like, on a Monday to say, like, what we're doing this week, what meetings have we got, like, where are we, what we're doing. Because I love being at home, but I also miss being out meeting other people. So I have a co-working space where I go. So it's like planning how often I'm there per week. And then on a Friday, we have a meeting that's just like, how did the week go? What have we got potentially for next week? What have we invoiced out, etc., haven't we? And we just like, what marketing do we need to do, Craig? Like how many emails have we sent out, like for leads and things? And it's nice because it does mean that we're both seeing the other side, because I don't get involved in the marketing at all. So it's quite nice to see how Craig's been getting on with it and what he's been up to. But equally, I do a lot of the networking, don't I, fairly. So it's kind of like he then gets to see about all my meetings that I've done and who I've met, and get the lowdown on anything that we've got coming up, kind of thing, on that regard. So it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice balance.
And what do you think? What do you think the best thing is about sort of working together?
Oh,
If there is a best thing, of course.
I mean, for me, what I like about it is we've got that shared goal, that shared objective, and we're really in it together. It's like before when you used to work in shipping and I was working in marketing, it's like we could come home and talk about each other's days, but I didn't really know the people that Gina was talking about. She didn't know the people I was talking about. She's got no idea about SQL queries. It's I mean, whereas now,
still no idea.
Every time we have conversations, it's like we're very much in it together and like going in the same direction. It's I think working together, you'll disagree with me now, won't you? But working together has brought us closer together.
I would never disagree.
I was just about to say, yeah. Do you think working together has strengthened your relationship? Then I might sound a bit
that's
trite,
gonna
but
be
that's the next question. Yeah,
I do think it has, because we have to be good at communicating. We can't, when you work in separate offices for separate businesses, and if one of us had annoyed the other, you had that time away to kind of like go, oh well, she's done my head in and he's done my head in and blah blah blah, and but now we work in the same house constantly. We are pretty much together all week, all the time. So you kind of have to go, you know what, you've annoyed me there. Let's discuss it. Like, I don't like how you did that, or I don't like how you said that. So I think it has made us stronger. We do communicate better.
We do.
Definitely. And I think it's massively helped that Callum really loves getting involved as well. So our little boy, he's just turned 6. So it does help, because then if we're working, and we do work some nights sometimes, he will go to bed because he knows it's important to the business. So it's kind of like, you need to go to sleep because mummy needs to work. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm helping the business by going to bed on time. I'm like, absolutely, you're helping the business by going to bed on time. So I think it's just helped all our relationships, hasn't it? And it's helped us outside of us three as well, like with family and friends, because you quickly realise who does care and who doesn't care about what you do. And like when they ask, like, oh, how's the business going? 95% of people are just want to, yeah, it's all right. Yeah. Fine. Whereas Craig's family are really invested. Like, how's it going? Oh no, tell us all about it. So it's kind of nice that we've, it's helped us with that relationship with your family as well, and get to know them a bit better, and get advice from people who you wouldn't necessarily expect it from.
Yeah, but not too much advice.
Oh, not too much.
No, you don't take all the advice. No, it might be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was one of the things that really threw me when we started, or when I first properly joined in April. So I joined in April and put an announcement on LinkedIn. Opened up my DMs to everybody because that's what I saw. And the amount of unsolicited advice that sort of came across, it was all well intentioned, and there were some gems, there were some nuggets in there, but it was overwhelming. And I think learning to say thank you for advice, do you know what I mean? But then sort of just diffuse it and decide which nuggets you're actually going to sort of hold on to and which you're just going to put in a not right now pile.
That's
the one thing I found really hard.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people, particularly family, if you've got family who've never run businesses, they come up with these ideas and things, and you think, well, yeah, but you're not the coalface, you've not done this before, but they can come with this advice, and have you done this? And you think, well, yeah, but thank you, but it's not really like that, you know what I mean? So if they've not experienced it themselves, it's well intended, obviously, there's some good intentions behind it, but sometimes you think, well, you don't
absolutely
run a business,
on the money.
You don't really know, do you? Yeah, you don't know what it's like all the time.
Yeah, definitely. We've had that a few times, haven't we? Our various members of both sides and friends who are like, I think you should go into this and I think you should do that. And I'm like, no. That's a good idea.
It does happen. It does happen.
Well, what's the worst thing about being in business together then?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Is there a worst?
We're never apart.
Yeah, we know that, don't we?
I love being home with him all the time, but it is hard to get back into having your own space.
Yeah. Because
Craig is very much a workaholic, aren't you? You will admit that. And it's very hard to drag him away from the screen and say, no, you need to have some time to yourself and go to the cinema or do this and that and the other. Whereas I'm quite like, no, 4:30, Callum's home from school with pens down. I'm having a couple of hours off. Yeah, I think that, we do struggle with finding time to either spend together or away from each other, to just have that break. And that's why I go co-working, because it means that I have a commute because I go to the co-work and then I come home, but also we're not in each other's pockets all the time. Gives us a bit of space.
Yeah, I do think that's been really important. I mean, because you enjoy it, going to sort of that co-working space once or twice a week. Me making sure I get an hour or an hour and a half if I'm going crazy down at the gym every day. So you've got your own interests. You're outside and you get that break from being in each other's pockets. But I also think it's our strength and our weakness. The thing that's great and also the thing that's a challenge is the fact that we're so different.
Yes.
We really are like chalk and cheese. Like Gina is very much want to clock off at 4:30, whereas I'm like, no, we've not hit the financial targets for May yet, Gina. And I'll keep,
and it's the 1st of May.
So I do think that, but if we were both right, that's it, tools down at 4:30, we might not. Whereas equally, do you know what I mean? If we were both workaholics, it wouldn't be good for Callum or the family. So I think the fact that we've got both sides is really good. And like you mentioned earlier, our approach to different things, I think the ideal balance is probably somewhere in the middle, right? But the fact that you're here and I'm there, it just works quite well.
Yeah, I think it does, to be fair. I think because I am so laid back a lot of the time, and I just kind of like, we'll just go with the flow, it'll be fine, things will happen. And I think it works well because I'm quite laid back, so I can just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. And it's nice to have the structure of Craig to say, no, actually, we need to do this, this and this. Because when it is just me on my own, and when it was just me, there were days when I was like, I could have a day off today. I've not got any work coming in. Well, I'll just sit out in the sun.
And Gina, we said that we would have this completed by this day.
And then Craig's like, hang on a second, you've got meetings all tomorrow. And then you want to go out on Friday night. You're like, you've got to do your work now. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Sounds
so
like,
it's quite nice.
A bit of a taskmaster there, Craig. So, do you talk about business in your downtime?
Yes, unfortunately. I think that's the danger of working together and being together, isn't it? Being in a relationship and living together and working together, that it just takes over a bit. And we have had to put in in place where, you know, once we go to bed or we stop for the night, you know, often we stop at 9 o'clock and we watch something on TV. That's it then. Like we don't look at our phones for emails or messages or anything, and it's like we don't discuss anything through. And I've learned that from other people that I know who, like my brother-in-law and sister, work for the company that I used to work for, and they obviously work in the same department. And it was always funny when my sister would get home from picking up their daughter, my brother-in-law would turn up 2.5 hours later and be like, have you seen that email? She's like, no, obviously not, I've been at home. So I've kind of learned how not to do it. And I think we do quite well now, don't we? At the beginning, it was difficult.
Yeah, I mean, what we tend to do is, you know, when Callum's in bed and we've got that, you know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, we've got that time. It's if one of us needs to work, the other will catch up on work. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, do you know what I mean? So when we don't have to work, we've got that time together, if that makes sense. What I think would be terrible is if on Monday night Gina was working, Tuesday night I was working, Wednesday you'd never get any time together. We try and work on the same nights and have the same nights off.
Yeah. And it is weird because obviously a lot of our deadlines are Friday. So it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're often working nights as well to try and like make sure we've got everything. And Friday we try and do an hour of work, don't we, just to like finish off, do a few emails or whatever, and do a bit of research for next week. And then we have like Saturday off, don't we? Like Saturday is our night off where we can just watch rubbish TV and chill out
and binge
chill.
out.
Right, I've got a question for you guys. This is one of my favourite questions, and it's ladies first. So I'm going to ask Gina first.
Okay.
But Gina, what is Craig's most annoying work habit? You notice I said work habit there. You can't bring any work habit.
I think his most annoying work habit, and he's not done it today because he's actually probably realised that I do get annoyed by it, is that we have a shared work folder, but everything comes to my email or my Teams, and then I have to save it. And I'm like, just put it in the work folder. Yeah, I will do. And then it comes to me on Teams. I'm like, all I'm going to do is just save it. Like, just save it yourself. It's in there. We can both see it.
Out the middle one,
But he actually saved the work in the right folder today. So I was kind of like, yes, we made progress.
Good timing for me to ask that question then, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And Craig, it's your turn now. Craig, what's Gina's worst work habit in your opinion? What is it that?
Probably her insistence that everything's saved in the right folder.
I don't know where it is.
No, I think you're actually right on that one. I need to get better at that. But I would say it's just a difference in our approaches to things. It's like, it'll be all right. It's like, what are the steps to making sure we're doing this? And I think it's just, it's not really an annoying work habit. It's just, without a plan, I get panicked.
Yeah. I'm quite free spirited in that regard. I'll just do whatever. I know, hope for the best. And if it don't work, we try something different.
I suppose you've kind of got both ends of the spectrum, haven't you? Then, so if you sort of meet somewhere in the middle, I think you should be okay.
And sort of, what advice would you give to any people thinking of starting a business together in a relationship? What have you learned? Do you think? What if you could tell them one thing? What might it be? Or two things even.
And it's not, don't do it.
Yeah.
Just be aware of how difficult it is. Like, it isn't. I do work with my best friend now, and I love that. But I'm sure there are days when we both just go, oh, for God's sake, just shut up. Like, please just go in your office and go away and leave me in peace. And I think it is, one piece of advice I would give is just be open and communicate effectively to make sure that, you know, you are on the right page. I mean, I think we do it very well that we are on the same page. Yes, I don't have a plan and he does, and I'll get there eventually. I will get to our final goals. It might just take me a longer journey than Craig's A to B. But I think that for me is being able to tell Craig that, you know, we've not done this right. We've had feedback that maybe we wouldn't like normally, but we've got to do it right. I think that for me, instead of just going, you've done it wrong, like, or we've done it wrong or whatever, and going and saying, we've had this feedback, let's just have a look together, see what's happened, blah, blah, blah. I think that has been key for us, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think like you touched on it earlier, it's really improved the way that we communicate,
Yeah.
and having that communication down is key. I think the piece of advice for me would be to have confidence in yourselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not going to be in a position, or it'd be very rare for you to be in a position where you're like, I want to start this business together without either you having experience or knowledge in an area. It's like, I wouldn't start a construction firm tomorrow because I've got no idea what I'm doing. So you start a business because you've got that experience and that passion, and it's about working together. And I think having that confidence that, you know what, we've got this. And I think there's a theme here. The advice from outside parties is going to come thick and fast. You're going to get people that say, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing that. You shouldn't be doing this, have you thought about X, Y, Z? And I think it's about working together, the two of you, as a team, to say, you know what, we've got this. This bit of advice has come in. What do you think? Should we, say thank you and put in a not right now pile, or is this something we need to take on board? But having that confidence to say, we got this.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I know you haven't been going that long, but have you had a memorable moment so far that you were just like, this is...
Yeah. What's been your biggest high?
I think for me, I know what yours will be. I think for me, it was getting Craig on board. That was a big thing. That was a big win for the business as a whole. But I think for me, it was when the agency that I'd done work for in the summer that I was like, I'll never hear from them again. It was just a holiday cover. They might come back to me next June, July time. They are one of our best customers and they come to us every single week for work. And I think for me, it was the realisation that when a new content manager came in and she actually messaged and said, we've got work for you and we actually really like working with you. Can we make this more official? Like where you are one of our main content writers. And that for me was like, I'm an actual, like, this is my actual job. I get to do this all the time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. What was yours?
Mine would be, it's always the feedback that you get from clients. It's like, that's what, it just makes your day. Because, you do put your heart and soul into sort of researching, crafting content, making sure, and then it goes out and there isn't feedback on the Tuesday when they said the feedback on the Tuesday. And then I'm not going to send them a follow-up email just yet. That's a bit too chasey. There isn't any feedback on the Wednesday either. It's like, oh, no. Or they're writing a big, long email of all the things that need to be... But then they'll come back with, no, really like this. Captures the brand really, really well. Got a few tweaks here and there. And it's like, oh, they loved it. They loved it.
Yeah.
So getting that feedback, for me, maybe it's because I've only been doing it sort of full-time for about sort of 2 or 3 months, but getting that buzz of someone saying, no, this is a couple of tweaks, but this is pretty much bang on, thank you. That always makes me feel good. But the one that that I'm going to say was May's billables was great. Yay!
our best month of the business. I think.
Excellent.
Just going back to feedback, it's when you see also when you work for an agency. And obviously we can never shout about what work we do with an agency or who they are, whatever. But it's when we look at that particular website for whatever reason and I go, oh, I wrote that. I wrote like that page, that's me. they've like done minimal edits or they've said, they've come back and said it was great. And I think there was an instance last year where I did some Christmas work for an agency and then it was for a newsletter for a kids' toy company, but I'd already signed up. I already had that newsletter coming in because of Callum. And then when I got the newsletter at Christmas and it was my work, I was like, oh, I did that. So it is nice. It's nice seeing your work in the wild.
It is.
Yeah, must be quite satisfying.
Okay. So if people do want to get in touch with you then, what's the best way, guys, if they want to use your service? How do they do that?
The best way is probably LinkedIn or email, isn't it? Or go on the website. So our website is righthererightnow.co.uk. We both have LinkedIn profiles. I'm at Gina Jackson and you're at Craig Jackson.
Yep.
And our emails are Gina at righthererightnow.co.uk and Craig at righthererightnow.co.uk.
Cool.
That's lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We'll make sure all those details go in the show notes as well, by the way, so if people didn't catch it.
No, it sounds like you're on the right track, and wish you all the best.
Yeah, it's been. I've really
Thank
enjoyed
you
the
ever so
conversation. Really
much.
nice. Really nice to chat to you both. And find out a bit more about you. It's been good. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Lovely. So thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, Tracy, what's our knowledge share for this week?
This week we have got PDF Escape, which is the original online free PDF editor and form filler.
Oh, sounds good. Sounds useful.
Very useful.
Cool. Oh, we'll put it in the show notes as well, by the way.
Good.
Cool. We're almost at the end of this week's show, and just as a reminder before we go, don't forget to book your place at one of our online networking events where you can meet some great business owners and build those business relationships. Remember, the best business comes from the best relationships. The link is in the show notes. We'd also like to mention our books, which are available on Amazon. We've got How to Improve Your Business Networking Skills, which is 52 tips to help you with your networking. We've also got our Notably Networking One-to-One Networking Notebook, a place to keep all your notes from those follow-up one-to-ones. And last but not least, our 90 Days to Your Success Journal, where you can plan, set and plot the actions you will take to achieve your goals.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on In Business Talks 2. We hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, all that we ask is that you simply tell a friend about the show. And please follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, this is Ian and Tracy, and together
we are in business.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.